Hello, all you campus gridiron fanatics. Glad you could join us here for another edition of Gridiron Gap Triple Option. Whether it's the TDs on and off the campus gridiron or the extra points in the recruiting wars, let's start gabbing. Welcome back, all you campus fanatics. Thank you for joining me again. I was supposed to do this a little bit earlier, but guys, when you stay up watching Championship Saturday, it kind of wears you out. You know what I mean? Very exciting. I actually was very surprised with one of the outcomes last night, you guys, and I'm sure many of you were. But if you're a Florida State fan, you're not surprised. And honestly, I'm looking at the committee, and we're going to go down the three teams that are vying for that one position. And I can tell you right now, Mr. CeeLo is not going to agree that Florida State does not belong. Because if you can beat a team like Louisville, people are going to say, two lost Louisville in the championship game. Well, first of all, most people that are in the SEC, you have no right to say two-loss competitor. That doesn't make your conference the best conference. That's the other argument. Because, we can sit here and we can look. Because when the SEC was the best conference in the country, nobody had 0 losses going into the championship game. Nobody had 1 loss going in. Teams had already been beaten up. So this notion, see, the SEC's been getting away with this for years. What have you done for me lately, SEC? Yeah, you've always had a one top-tier team, but not as a conference as a whole. Sorry. We can sit here and we can look at Georgia's 2 national championships, and I'm going to call you out, Georgia. Kirby Smart said last night he had 2 injured receivers in his press conference. Kirby, you beat that Alabama team in the national title game, the one that you and your fan base has been bragging about that lost to Bama in the SEC title game. Henry Ruggs got hurt. And then Jamison Williams gets hurt in the late in the first half. But you want to cry you lost your 2 receivers. Hush, Kirby. Don't cry on national television because the bill finally came due. Oh, I forgot about Ohio State. You knocked out Marvin Harrison, and Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't even play in that game against Ohio State, and they were still beating you. So no, you don't get a case, Georgia. Not because of injury. Bye-bye. Shut up. And I want Kirby Smart to hear this. You having players hurt is no excuse, and it's damn sure not an excuse for you to get into the college football playoff. And you are not one of the 4 best teams, because one of the best teams does not make excuses. Not once did I hear Saban or even whiny Ryan Day mention his 2 receivers getting hurt, but you did. Oh, guess what? You having 2 receivers hurt means you can't go to the playoff, right? Your inability to be out there on the field, next man up as you know it. You were saying next man up all season, right? Now all of a sudden you're playing Alabama, next man up doesn't apply. Wham, wham, wham. When you guys, if you don't know, I live in the Deep South. I live in Georgia. I hear these dog fans cry all the time. Oh my goodness, we didn't have so-and-so. Alabama didn't have 2 NFL wide receivers. Ohio State was missing one of their NFL wide receivers. And you knocked out the other one. Cry baby, cry baby, cry baby. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, move along, go to a lesser bowl game. Because it ain't going to be the college football playoff. Now, I am here to give you guys the lowdown on what my decision is and then what I think the committee's decision is. First things first, let's get the committee's decision out of the way. Because here's the thing. As a Notre Dame fan, if they leave Florida State out, then Notre Dame has an argument for not getting in. I mean, even if we're going to 12 teams. The conference champ is irrelevant. You say the conference championship matters. That was the whole point of this 14 format in the first place, which I thought it was dumb in the first place. You should have figured out a way to get all the 5 power conferences in the first place. We had a friend of the show that he believes that there should have been an 18 playoff when this thing went into inception, and I totally agree. But unfortunately, these were the situations that you were trying to avoid. And like I said, I don't deal well with wine baby coaches that were the victor of set circumstances for 2 straight years. Yes, Georgia, you weren't the best team for 2 years. Get that out of your head. Now you're going to deal with it. I believe, this is where I'm going with this. I believe the number 1 team in the land, everybody's going to disagree with me on this, but I'm going to go with Washington. Because they beat a more power-ranked football team than the Michigan Wolverines. And I think this is pretty cut and dry. You guys are going to know where I'm going with this. So I think Washington's number 1, and I think they get the privilege of deciding who goes on. And then, of course, the next team is going to be the Michigan Wolverines. That was impressive what they did to Iowa last night, but really it wasn't. I was more impressed with the fact that they were able to score 27 points on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, the shutout wasn't surprising. There were several games Iowa would go through the game and have either a field goal or 0 points. And in the fourth quarter, they would just muster up enough strength to do what they do. And, well, the third one is where this gets interesting. You cannot exclude what the Texas Longhorns did. So for this reason being that Texas has beaten a what I would consider a team that more than likely would have beaten the following team, the team below them. You put Texas above Florida State. I know people are going to have a problem with that, but I put Texas over Florida State for this reason, because their win, even though they're number 7 and you shoot them all the way to number 3, and people are going to say, well, why would you do that? Well, because you can't drop Florida State all the way down to number 5 with a win. Yes, I get it. Their win was not nearly as impressive, and it wasn't even against a ranked team. But we have to also look at the totality and impressiveness of the victory as well. Oklahoma State was ranked 18th. Texas ranked number 7th. You know, a win like that is supposed to push you further up. So I have to put Texas at number 7, and then it will be a matchup of Michigan versus Texas. And finally, the number 4 team in the country in the college football playoff will be the Florida State Seminoles. And a lot of people are going to say, well, I disagree. Well, look, you can disagree all you flipping want to. The fact is, I'm not going by these stupid little FFPs or whatever the crap they want to call them, because they're logistic. They're still humanoid ideas. You're basically saying the two SEC teams that went in the SEC title game have tougher schedules. Why? Because you overrated LSU, Missouri? Yeah, you did. Because you're overlooking the Pac-12. And this is the thing. You're overlooking the Pac-12 and you're overlooking the relevance of the Big 12. And that's the thing. I get sick and tired of these rankings being predicated. You're saying, oh, we got to put this in there. Strength of schedule. Strength of wins. That means nothing. The SEC is always playing at least 2 cupcakes. At least. That's being nice. And I'm not talking about Division 1 or FBS cupcakes. We're talking about FCS cupcakes. Teams that don't even have a real mascot. Tune-up games. But the whole thing that people are upset about is the SEC getting left out. Guess what, Georgia? You blew it. Now, I'm going to justify leaving Alabama, the SEC champ, out. And you guys are going to know why. Texas beat them head to head. All this talk about the best team is the 4 best teams are supposed to be getting in there. You don't leave an undefeated ACC champ out. SEC fan folks, stop whining. You ain't the best conference this year. You can sit there and cry and say I'm wrong if you want to. LSU got beat by Florida State. A 3-loss LSU team got their butts handed to them. No, that's why I say Georgia is not going. Because listen, people look at the matchups in the Southeastern Conference and they totally lose this when they talk about other conferences. Upsets happen in every conference. Georgia getting beat by Alabama ain't nothing crazy. You know why? Because people live in this fairy tale world. I've watched Georgia all year, not impressed with them. Sorry, wasn't impressed with them last year, wasn't impressed with them 2 years ago. Let me tell you why. Because before Jamison Williams got hurt in the title game, let's not forget, Alabama beat them down in the SEC title game. And you got these stupid, ignorant Georgia fans. Yeah, we wanted to see them in the championship game. No, you didn't. You did not want to see them in the championship game. You were getting beat up until Jamison Williams tore his ACL. Oh, yeah, it's real as it feels. And Bryce Young looked lost trying to find somebody to get open. Call me a lie. Now, here's let me say this. I know a lot of you think the SEC should get in, but
who told you to think? I don't give you enough information to think. You do what you're told. That's what you do. Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, here's the problem. Here is the problem. You guys are in your feelings. It's not the end of the world the SEC is not in it, because here's the reality. People are going to sit here and say, well, I'm not going to watch it if the SEC ain't in it. You don't watch other conferences anyway. That's why you look stupid right now. If you'll remember, Florida State dismantled LSU. And guess what? Yes, Jordan Travis is not playing. But to sit there, if you were in the same position on that Florida State Seminole team. See, this is the thing. Y'all want to sit here and say, oh, the world is tough. Guess what? Georgia. Guess what? Bama. The world is tough. Because your fans want to tell FSU and Texas the same thing. You chose to be in the Southeastern Conference. Nobody pulled your arm and said, let's be in the SEC. You don't have no dominance. And the reason why is you get so many chances to have dominance. And as I said, Georgia, your two back-to-back national championships came with an asterisk in my head. And now you're understanding what that asterisk means. Now, this is how I think the committee is going to view this. I think they're going to put Michigan at 1. They're going to put Washington at number 2. Possibly Florida State number 3, and this is where it gets interesting. It could not be Florida State. I mean, I was reading an article that Heather Dinich of ESPN, one of my favorite reporters, I might add, she thinks that Florida State could be the first Power 5 conference, undefeated Power 5 conference champion to be left out. And given the SEC bias from Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway and Booger McFarland, it's possible. I was watching after the Alabama game. There was 2 gentlemen up there on the CBS broadcast. They're SEC heavy. But they realized the aspect that Texas owns the tiebreaker. And they said that this game between Florida State and Louisville was going to weigh heavy on whether or not the SEC gets into this thing. Because let's keep it real. People that are fair and impartial, they understand that the regular season matters. The fact that the committee and this whole thing was created to put Power 5 champions in there. Not who's the best team, Georgia. You had your shot. You lost. You lost. Get over yourself. You lost. You shouldn't have won 2 years ago. You shouldn't have won last year. Your time has come. Humble yourself. Because now you're about to eat a whole bunch of crow. Many of you Georgia fans are about to eat a crow. You're about to be level set. And it feels so good from a perspective that I'm ecstatic that you guys did not win because you're annoying. Georgia fans are annoying. And after Florida State, I believe Texas is not going to get in. I believe they're going to find a way to put Alabama in there. Even though Texas owns the tiebreaker. Now the tiebreaker. I mean, and see, if college football was like the NFL, how many times, guys, have we seen the NFL with their tiebreaker? And we've seen some of the best teams that had the best teams get left out because a team they just got hot. That's not picking. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It's just how it goes. Fact is, tiebreaker comes first. Head to head. I don't care what that idiot from the committee says. You got somebody that goes head to head. It's not about, you want to say you want to get the 4 best teams in here. Stop changing the narrative. The fact is, these teams went undefeated and Texas had the best win because it was head to head. And if anybody wants to say, what about Georgia? Georgia just lost to the team that Texas beat head to head. You're out of it. What about Ohio State? Not a conference champion. Any other questions? But guys, that is going to do it for me. I'm sure a lot of you guys are not going to like what I have to say. That's going to do it for us today on this edition of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Guys, make sure you comment. Let me know what you think. Go to the Facebook page, guys. You guys have been really active on there. I'm really grateful for that. Oh, by the way, before I get up out of here, let's take a look at our awesome poll, you guys. Let us do our thing and see what we got going on this poll. We had a couple of polls. I should have put one up for all the championship games, but I did not, you guys, and that is my mess up. And I wish you guys would stop being just stupid. I'm really wanting to block some of you guys because if you're not going to be funny, don't mess up my polls. Really? Okay. According to the fan base, 47% of you guys said Alabama was going to win. It was a really good poll, you guys. There were, how many people that participated? Let's see. I'm getting my numbers up, guys. When you're doing this kind of stuff, it is really tough to stay on track, but I'm trying to get this thing together, you know what I'm saying? And it's really, really hard, but it's a lot of fun, you guys. There were 78 votes. Thank you all for voting. Thank you all for voting. Oh my goodness. Who wins the Pac-12 championship? And there's only one person that voted, you guys, and I think I did a bad job of getting this out here. Everybody, the one person put the Ducks. As you know, yours truly chose the Huskies. But let's get out of here, guys. Like I said, keep up the good work. Keep comment on the show in the comment section at the YouTube channel, and also go and check out the shows that I did on the review or the prediction or preview of the Oregon Ducks and the Washington Huskies, as well as the preview that I did for the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. As your boy called both of those games. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points apiece. Anyhow, the next time you guys are on a green grass of the campus tailgating on a Saturday afternoon, remember, same Gap channel, same Gap platform.